All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. Um, yeah, the financial landscape is changing very quickly, and there's multiple things that can go into this. The first thing, when I say the financial landscape is changing, I'm talking about prices of everything. Everything is going up in price. When you look at rent, all right, if we look at 3 to 5 years ago, you could probably get a 1 to 2 bedroom for maybe 12 to 1500. Now those same 1 to 2 bedrooms are going for 2 to 2500. All right. Haircuts. Before you were able to get a haircut for 15 to 20 bucks. Now haircuts are anywhere from 40 to over $100, depending on who you go to and things like that. The price of food has gone up, right? If you go to the grocery store, you look at the cereal, you look at milk, you look at everything. Those items have gone up probably $2 to $3 more in the last 5 to 10 years. So the financial landscape is changing. Everything is getting more expensive. So you definitely need to adjust your mindset when it comes to making more money, and also just understanding how much you're going to need to live in the current financial environment, because a lot of people are just stuck on the same wave, same mindset, same parameters when it comes to how much you should be making. Especially if you throw like a kid in that equation. I don't think, let's just say an average person making 5 to 10 years ago, an average person making 30 to 50 grand, that was good enough, right? You can go on at least maybe 1 to 2 vacations a year. You could purchase your food, you could pay your rent. If you had a car payment, you would be able to afford that car payment. And that's another thing that went up in price, car payments too. I mean, before you used to be able to pay 2 to 250 a month and get a brand new car. Now you're not able to do that. Car payments, if you're lucky, 450 to 500, and but it's more like 6 to 700 now. With cars, we're actually probably going to be getting a break soon when they start cutting interest rates. So, but either way, cars are still, they're not going to go that much down in price. They may go down a little bit because of interest rates, but that's another thing that's gone up in price. But yeah, before you were able to get a car for 2 to 300 bucks, now you're paying, 5 to 700 bucks for that same car. So yeah, I think people need to assess how much they're making, and um, I mean, I guess you could start with the average. Like, so for instance, if 30 to 50 grand was enough 5 to 10 years ago, you're looking more like 80 to 100,000 right now, just to be okay, just just to be average, right? I think if you're making less than that, then you're going to be in trouble, because you not only want to be able to pay for your expenses, but you want to be able to save, invest. And I don't think you can't do that with 30 to 50 grand. And if, let's just say you're making 50 grand, you're really not even taking 50 grand home, especially if you're working for a corporation. You got to pay your medical, you have to pay the taxes, state taxes, federal taxes, and things like that. So most likely, if you're making 50 grand a year, you're really bringing home like 35 after taxes. So it's even less. And some people are suggesting today that, and I believe this as well, but 100K is not enough, because you got to really think about it. Most people want to start a family, even if you just had one kid. 100K can go fast really quickly. Um, so 100K is becoming the new 50K. I've heard it many times, and I truly believe that's the case. I think if you're making 100K, you're still doing better than most people because in order to make 100K a year, you definitely need to have some type of skill set that the workforce sees, and that's going to pay you 100K. And typically, somebody that makes 100K, they'll get a bonus at the end of the year, whether it's 5 to 10K. So I think you're doing good, but it's getting to the point because I honestly think the 30 to 50K range wasn't good enough 5 years ago. I think now we're getting into that point where it's like 100K is still good, but we're getting out of that to where it's pushing to like 120, 150, right? And maybe you make 100K at your job, but maybe now you have to supplement some stuff, like take out some of the activities you do outside of work for leisure and do some things on the side to bring you that additional money. But yeah, I think 100K is getting to be not enough to at least support a family. I guess if you're single, it's decent, but I right now I make you know at 100K plus, and I'm doing pretty good. But I'm single, right? I don't have to take care of anybody. I don't have any kids, no pets, things like that. So uh, it works for me. But I also do things outside of work to make additional money. So I don't think I would be able to invest if I didn't make moves outside of work, right? So you really need to look at how much you're bringing in, and then also what is your plan? Do you plan on having a family? Do you plan on going on vacations? Maybe you want to go on vacation more than once a year. And that has changed too. A lot of people are becoming more, even though like the workspace has become like a work from home environment that we're seeing. A lot of people are working from home, but most people want to go on a vacation at least once every 2 months. So before it was like, I remember like 5, 10 years ago, it was like once a year was good enough. You would save up for that vacation, whether you went overseas or whatever you did. Maybe you went to a resort that was all inclusive, and that was good enough. And then you just went back to work. The average, I'm talking about the average person. But now more people are wanting to travel more, and a lot of this is due to social media. People are going on social media. People are traveling to different places. They're able to see a lot more things, so they want to try out a lot more things. So you also have to factor in the quality of life that you want to live. Some people are like, oh no, you just need to talk about the necessities, and that's true. You should always focus on the necessities first, but you should also think about, okay, what kind of quality of life do I want to live? And I think you also need to factor that into that equation, your money equation. How much you need to make, how much money do you need to invest, so that way when you're ready to pick out your vacations and stuff, you're not held to a certain salary or held to what you have in the bank, or well, you should be held to what you have in the bank, but you're not held to the money you're making because it's so low, essentially. So yeah, the financial landscape is changing in that way. Everything's getting more expensive, and you shouldn't. But the good thing is there's a lot more ways to make money, and the education, the information is out there if you want to learn. The problem is with most people, they're so lazy. They don't want to do anything. They want to use their weekends to be at the beach, be at the bar, be with their friends, playing games and all this other stuff. And those things are fine if you have everything in order. But what you see is a lot of people complaining that they don't have the lifestyle they want to have, and it's because of their financial situation. So that needs to stop too. I think there's so much information out there, and it's not free. I mean, you have people on YouTube giving out financial information, and yes, it's free on there, and you can learn a lot on YouTube. So I definitely think that would be a good starting point. But I think at some point, everybody should just be whatever thing you're trying to niche in, whether it's real estate, stocks, crypto, drop shipping, some type of business, you should be paying for a course to learn how to get better at that thing and scale up the amount of money you make in that certain business or investment. So and most people don't want to pay. Most people think, oh, 200-300 bucks for that course is too much, or maybe it's $50-$60 a month. But let me tell you right now, like you need to start getting the information that you need to make some extra money on the side. I think that's what's in the middle between the person that's making, let's just say, 50,000 a year, and they want to maybe bring in an extra 2 to 3 thousand a month to help them out with bills, to help them out save a little bit and things like that. In the middle between that is the information, the education. And if you don't pay for information, most likely you're not going to get the right information you need. And you're just going to waste a lot of time trying different things out when you could have just paid somebody that knew what they were doing, that was an expert in that area, that field, and it could have saved you a lot of time, and then also bring in that extra $2 to $3,000 a month that you want. So, yeah, I think start paying for some information. Like I said, in crypto, I didn't start making money until I started paying for information. I paid probably over $5,000 to $6,000 for services and memberships. Now they do a lot of the work for you, but you still need to find the asset that you want to invest in and still do your research to make sure that the asset for me, the crypto that I was getting in was the right asset to put a lot of money in, right? And essentially, make some gains. But yeah, it's not to say, yeah, you pay for somebody to help you out and then that's it. You don't have to do anything else. I'm not saying that, because most people, that's again, it's part of the laziness. Most people would pay for a course and they either don't even take the course, or they think that once they take the course, that's it, the work is done. No, after I've paid thousands of dollars to get the information, I had to go out and do my own research and come to my own conclusions to kind of combine whatever that person was saying to verify that, but then also come up with my own analysis, my own hypothesis of what I thought was going to happen. And that's typically when you get the best results. You pull in an expert, then you pull in the work and research that you do, you combine that together, and that's when you typically get the best results. You get, you start to see things moving. But if you're that person that, and I see this all the time too, like somebody that watches one YouTube video and, they watch one YouTube video and they think they're an expert. They go open a brokerage account for 40, 50,000, and then they end up blowing the account and they ask why. Well, first of all, you went too big. And second of all, you only watch one video. Like, you're not going to become an expert, and you shouldn't feel like you're an expert. It takes, I would say, at least a year of learning about that topic, learning about that skill to become not even an expert, just become well-rounded in that field or that topic, right? There's so many people that just do one thing. They think that one thing is just going to get them the knowledge and expertise that they need, and they end up losing a lot of money, or they just end up wasting a lot of time. So don't be one of those people that think they're the expert in an area when you only watched one video and you think, you know everything. It's like those people that, go traveling and to one country for a week and they come back and they're like, yeah, I know everything about that country. I mean, you only spend 1 week. Like, I've lived in Florida for so long, and there's different things that I learn about it every weekend. I might go to a different area, I might go to a different place, or maybe I go to the same place but just a different route. And I'm like, oh, I never saw that store there. What's that about? So you can't just expect to you can't just expect to be an expert in something so quickly. Most people want that quick buck, want that quick change, and a lot of it is because, I mean, you see younger people too. They want that quick change, but a lot of it is from the older folks. They see, like, a lot of the younger people get success pretty quick. It's because they're using that information that they have. Now, it's not a lot of people. There's definitely a lot of young people that are very successful, and I would say they're doing it a lot quicker than the older generation. But again, you see it on social media, you see it on YouTube, so it's just in your face. So it may seem like there's a lot, but there is. I would say the younger folks, typically, if we didn't call out the age and we just said, here's a person in the room that's successful, they did this, and we've revealed their age, most likely they would be young, because younger folks, they see like what older people used to do. Because older people, not all, some, right? A good majority, I should say. I just didn't even say some. A good majority, the way they got rich or retired was working a job for 30 to 40 years, and then they would have about maybe 5 to 600,000 in their 401k at the end of retirement, and then at 60 they would go traveling and things like that. Well, now it's a different time where you have, whether it's people on YouTube that are making hundreds, if not millions of dollars in their teens, and being able to do whatever they want in their early 20s. And a lot of the times the older folks, and I wouldn't consider myself older, but I would say I'm past that generation of like teens and in early 20s making a lot of money, but I'm 30, right? So, but what you see with the older folks, they kind of see that in the younger people, and then they get angry, and they're trying to just do something quick to fix their situation. And that's a good way to not make money. That's a good way to lose a lot of money. Again, it's going to take some time, because even those kids, like the younger, the people that making that much money, hundreds, millions of dollars in their teens, they just started early, right? It still took them 3 to 5 years, but maybe they started at 15 and now they're 20, but they've been putting in work at 5 years. And also they've been using technology. They've been using quicker methods to get to that point. You have been working at a job for 20 years. Maybe you have 100K in your 401k, but you're 35, 40. So, and then on top of that, if you ever wanted to pull that out now, if you wanted to pull that 100K out now, you would get like a 20, 30% penalty. So you really only have like 70K at 40, right? So there's a gap. And the way to close that gap, whether you're older or younger, and maybe you are younger and you see the younger people making a lot of money, is to get the education, and putting in reps, and give it at least a solid year to 2 of consistency, and then you'll get to where you want to get to. And then if you're older, it's just looking at, being humble, looking at what the younger people are doing, saying, look, they made it to where I want to be in 3 to 5 years. I'm already 20 years in, and I still haven't gotten to where I want it to be. Let me humble myself, look at what this younger person's doing, and replicate that as much as I can. Not, and again, going back to, you can't just copy what somebody else is doing. Sometimes, in some cases, you could if you're so really early onto the trend. But for the most part, you can pay for information to see what somebody else did, and then put your own little twist to it. And again, that's when the magic happens, and you start to understand what this thing. This is my computer. You start to understand, like, okay, I can make money other than my job, right? There's this extra $1,000 to $2,000 I'm bringing in each month because I learned from this person, and now I'm able to bring in an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So yeah, financial landscape is changing. The way you want to get ahead, the way you want to adapt to that is, one, education. Look at what, and you can look at some older people. A lot of older people are successful too, that have adapted the new technology, the new ways of making money. So it's informing yourself, getting the education, paying somebody to that has gone through what you want to accomplish already, that has accomplished and that's very successful in that space, and then just putting in the work and bringing in consistency. I think that's the way you combat that change in financial landscape. We'll talk about another change in financial landscape too. But the first change in financial landscape is that everything is going up in price, and you need to make more money and solve for that equation. You need to solve for the equation of rent going to 2,500, 2,000. The answer is not cut back. I see that too. A lot of people want to cut back and say, okay, things have gone up 50% in price. I'm not going to make more money. I'm just going to keep cutting down the things I do. And I see people do that too. They just whittle down the quality of life until they're just angry and miserable. You can't do that. You need to make more money. You can save too, but it needs to be a combination of both. You can't just say, I'm going to not, oh, the gym membership is $60 now, I'm just not going to go to the gym anymore. Oh, the food, I'm just going to buy less food. No, like at some point, it's just going to deteriorate your quality of life. So you need to make more money. You could save, but also learn how to make more money, right? Yes, the inflation's going up. Things are more expensive, but also we have technology to run alongside with those increases in prices that's going to help you make a lot more money than what you could in the past. So yeah. So that's the first way the financial landscape is changing. The second thing that's changing, I kind of spoke to this a little bit, but the way you make money, also when it comes to like paper assets, there's a lot more liquidity. There's a lot more liquidity going into the markets. We're seeing companies valued at trillions, companies like Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, and I forget who else is. But yeah, we're getting companies that are valued at trillions, hundreds of billions. So before, $1 billion to $10 billion company was a lot. Now it's very small. It's still significant, but it's very small. So all that means is that the opportunity to make money in these companies becomes a lot more vast. You have a lot more opportunity to double and triple your money. Now that there's a lot of companies that can go from $1 billion to $20 billion easy, that's a 20x. But then you have a lot of companies that can go from 20 billion to 10 billion. That's a 5x. So yeah, the first part of it was the financial landscape is changing because prices are going up. But then also the financial landscape is changing because you have the technology, you have all this liquidity coming into the markets, and you're able to invest in things that are going to give you the money you need to afford the things you want. Again, it just goes back to wanting to learn about that and being informed. There's, I was, you'd be surprised how many people don't know the basics about the stock market or like what an ETF is. And not to say it's important, but just there's at this point, like there should just be certain definitions. Certain words that you should just know in the definition behind that word. ETF, stock market, S&P, Nasdaq. What is the S&P? What is the Nasdaq? What is that? Right. So you need to be able to, you should know these things. It shouldn't be foreign to you. I was watching a video on YouTube and somebody was asking, what is an ETF? It's 2024. You should know what an ETF is. You should know what a mutual fund is. Or, you don't need to know it's so in depth, but you should have heard it before and you should have somewhat of an idea what that is, but you shouldn't not be in the know. There's so many people that are not in the know, and there's so much technology that is helping people these days that you should know about them. One thing that I could think of off the top, and I think everybody should have this, is a Chat GPT. It could be Chat GPT. It could be Venice AI. These are all chat bots. What's the Llama? I think the one Llama is the Facebook one, I believe. So yeah, Chat GPT, Llama thing. What do those things do? You type in a question, it gives you an answer. I'm literally, anything I need to know, I go there and you can ask it any question. And maybe it's not the most accurate, but it's pretty darn close. You can ask it about any topic, any question. It's not like Google and I think Google has the AI feature now too, but these chatbots are a little more dialed in, and you ask it any question and it just gives you the answer, opposed to you having to search. Even though you go to Google and some answers pop up at the top, these chatbots give you everything you need to know. So I think everybody should have that. That's one of the technologies. This AI thing is going to be here for a while, and it's very helpful, especially if you want to get information about something that you want to learn about when it comes to finance. Now, it's not going to give you financial information, financial advice, but it'll give you some financial information, and you can take that to, move on to the next steps. So yeah, the financial landscape is changing when it comes to, the technology, but also liquidity in markets, real estate, stocks, crypto. Everything's being valued a lot more. There's trillions of dollars flowing in these asset classes, so that just means it's more opportunity for you to double, triple your money. If you're a person that has 30,000 and you did your research and you put it in a stock that went up 3x. Now you have 90, maybe after taxes you're at 70. Well, it takes 5 to 6 years in a 401k sometimes to get to that 30,000 profit, and you did it in a year or two. So, it's all about cutting the time down relatively safely, not just throwing your money in anything, but trying to cut that time down in which you can have enough assets where it brings you that $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and you don't really need to depend on just a job. You now have this additional thing on the side that's bringing you some money. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Usually if I go over 30 minutes and I have to figure this out, the audio cuts out, so I don't want that to happen. But make sure you guys go follow me on Instagram, Mr. Financial Nutrition on Instagram, Financial Nutrition on TikTok. Now I'm doing the lives Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. I used to do it Friday. On Instagram and TikTok, I'm going to post today. I post 11 to 12. During the week, I post at 6 p.m. during the week. But yeah, go follow me on those platforms. It's just snippets of my live streams. I'm playing around with it, but right now I'm just doing snippets of my live streams and I'm posting it up. So we're just trying to grow that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk about the markets, see how the markets they're doing. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.